Mr. Wheelman here. On this video, we're going to be talking about these new BFG tires we just got in. They are the new HD Terrain KT tire from BFG. This is a heavy-duty commercial grade tire. We're not only going to be showing you the mounting and balancing of these tires, but we also powder coated the wheels. We have a little bit of driving impressions, and we're going to go over basically our thoughts on these tires and how we think they're going to do for us in the long term. So stay tuned for the video and we will cover all that here in a second. Okay, here we have our factory 17-inch steel wheels off of the 2014 Ford F-250 Super Duty project. And these are getting ready to go to sandblasting to get powder coated. As you can see, we've got some are a little bit rusty, rock chipped up. This one's really bad. Not sure what happened to this one, but seems like all the paint's coming off of this one. And so the next time we see these, we should be in the powder coating oven getting new silver paint put on these wheels. Okay, wheels are back from sandblast. As you can see, nice and clean. There's no rust, there's no chipping, peeling paint. Everything's nice and ready to go. Next step here is we're going to put our silver powder coat on these wheels and get that finish baked on. And we're going to be ready to mount and balance tires here as soon as we get done with the powder coating process. Okay, here is the next step in the powder coating process. This is a primer coat we put on. Because these are steel wheels, we do a high zinc primer coat on steel products. It helps with adhesion of the powder coat itself. It helps in rust prevention if the powder coat ever gets scratched or rock chipped. And if anybody knows wheels, you know that wheels get rock chipped. So it's a little bit of a bluish green color, but we're going to have silver coming up here real quick. Okay, here is the finished product on the wheel powder coating. This is the final coat of silver. Probably mentioned it in a previous video that we went with a darker silver than what came on these factory. I wanted to change the look up a little bit. It's a nice, fairly high gloss silver, but a darker tone than what Ford originally used on these wheels. And probably do the center caps to match if we can. So this is the final product of the powder coat. We are going to be mounting and balancing tires next. Alrighty, so we're live and ready to go. Okay. Gonna get this tight on the machine. I've got some very special valve stems. Have a stem on the back for the TPMS sensor. So these are all the TPMS sensors we took off of the original wheels. They're gonna go on our newly powder coated wheels. So put those together as a little tiny screw, and I keep a tool over here just for that, little Torx tool. You completely screw this onto the new valve stem, get it nice and tight. Okay, now we're ready to go for a new valve stem. Take off the cap and the valve core. Grab my valve stem tool, and we get just a little bit of lube around there so we don't tear the rubber through the hole. Thread my tool onto the valve stem and make sure my sensor's in place. Pull that up tight, and valve stem installed. Now we need a tire. Now, here we got these badass new BF Goodrich HD Terrain TA KT tires. Alrighty. Now, typically I do the barcode facing up on the wheel on BF Goodrich and Michelin, and I think that's the way we're going to do it on these. So, a little tire lube up the beads good. Make sure we get the front one really good. Okay, back one again. There we go. Now, set the tire up there. Get this arm in place. We're angled back just a little bit too much. These are adjustable on these machines. Pull that forward a little bit. Get the tire up on the mount head. Now, we want the valve stem to be just ahead of where the tire bead is going onto the wheel, because we don't want to crush the TPMS sensor. So this is about where you want your valve stem to start. Go around. And we're going to try to set up this next one the same way. Turn the tire to where we're ready to go here. We'll keep moving this around till the sensor gets back down in this area. And then we're going to push the bead in behind it. Just about like that. And there we go. Tire is on the wheel. Now we'll air it up. And I like to use this connector here. It's a little faster. Air it up. Get my valve core ready to go, and as soon as we get enough air in here, we'll put the valve core back in the valve stem. I'll use this gauge on the machine to see where we're at. We're about 40 psi. Switch to a different tool here. It's a little quieter. I get this up to about 55, 60, somewhere in there. Should be good for our 3/4 ton Ford. Probably calls for 80 psi in the rear. Not really going to haul any weight like that in this truck in the meantime, so probably going to run all these at about 60. About 56. There's 60. Okay. So, valve cap on. This one, the mounting process is done. And we are ready for balance. Okay, so now we get to do the balancing process here. So we need to figure out what adapters we need to get this on the machine. I guess this big old ring right there. Get this up on there. And this big centering cone here. Plastic spacer, handle. down good. Now we need to set our measurements here. We know these are 17-inch wheels. That's that setting there. Not exactly sure on the width of this tool. I can measure the width. And we got 7.5 inches. So 7.5 inches wide. Last measurement here is how far away from the machine. This little tool here gives us some numbers. We are at 196. So crank this knob to 196. Now all of our settings are correct for our balance. So can I give this thing a little bit of a shove? Close the hood, hit the go button, and we are spinning. And this here is where it wants the wheel weight. This bright red light there is showing we need 2 1/4 ounces. That's on the outside of the wheel. That's over here on this side. So I will grab, let's see, 2 1/4. 2 ounce, 2 1/4. Okay. Okay. 2 1/4 ounce. We're going to use, or 2 1/4 ounce. We're going to use these coated wheel weights. Let's see. Now this actually is a different color than our wheel here. There's another trick I can do, and we can hide these wheel weights behind the face of the wheel. So if I go to special, and this for aluminum wheels, and we hit enter, now we can measure this inside lip behind the face of the wheel, about 333. That's this number there. This diameter here is the actual diameter of the wheel. And let's get one over here. We want to go in this area right here, and that's about 15.5 inches across. So we set this up to 15.5, and then we go to the other setting to measure this side of the wheel. We go to next. Okay, we still have a 17-inch wheel, and this setting is still correct at 196. So that measurement on our system didn't change. So let's try this again. Okay. Now, this is a heavy wheel and heavy tire combo, and balancing it on the back side of the wheel isn't ideal. Usually it takes a lot more weight to do that. That's why we're seeing these numbers here a little bit higher than what we'd normally see. But let's see what we can do here to get this balanced here. We're gonna go with these. These are 1 ounce, or 1 ounce. Each weight is 1 ounce. I'm gonna start with 4 here. See what that does for us. We want to get a nice paper towel. Even though we just powder coated these wheels, we want to make sure there's no dust or dirt or fingerprints where we're going to put the wheel weights. So I'm going to take and mark this with the chalk right here on the tire. I like that, just so I can see where that wheel weight goes when I turn this around to see the surface we're going to. And there, I'm gonna clean that surface right there really good. I'm gonna peel these 4 weights here. They're a little bit squirrely sometimes. To get a good hold on them, I line them up with my mark all the way to the inside edge, where they're going to balance as far towards the front of the wheel as we can get them. Now, to double check, I'm going to go ahead and spin this again and see where we're at. Alrighty, where are our... Okay, so this is one situation where the balancer guessed a little bit wrong. We put on 4 ounces, it really wanted 4.5, and now it's basically saying we put on a 1/2 ounce too much. So we're gonna back this off and take some of that back off of there. There we go. I'm gonna take this first one, just this first piece, 1 ounce piece. We'll take that off. We're gonna recheck this again, see where we're at. All right, 1/2 ounce here. This is our original mark. It wants it right next to our original mark. So, where we had that 1 ounce piece there, we're gonna put a 1/2 ounce right there. I'm gonna clean that spot again, get all the old glue off. Okay, now, we got some 1/2 ouncers right here. So that is 1/2 ounce. Take one of those. Park that right next to our other weights. And voila, let's try that, see where we're at. Okay. Now, what's 6 1/4 on this side? We're gonna line that up there. And I don't have any 6 1/4 ounce weights, but we do have 2.5, 2.5. We're gonna have 5. It's gonna be 1.25 ounces short. So we might, so we just throw on 1.25 ounces right now. I go ahead and put this one right in the middle. Put our bigger weights outside of that one. And we'll try that. Another 1/2 ounce. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Here's a little trick that maybe not all tire shops know, but what's another 1/2 ounce here, but our weights are over here on the side, which means we need to just move the weights up slightly. They're slightly out of position. The balancer changed its mind a little bit on where it wants these weights. Typically with this much weight, you don't need to move them very far. Just a little bit can make a huge difference. We'll see if it likes that. There we go. All zeros. So Like I said before, big, heavy wheel and tire combination. This is a heavy duty tire. It's a heavy steel wheel. Steel wheel may not be perfectly straight. We don't really care on the truck we're putting it on. And that's probably why it took a little bit more weight than normal to balance. But hiding the weights on the back side of the wheel, you don't have any weights clipped to the face of the wheel now, but the wheel is completely dynamically balanced. So we hit all the weights in behind. Took a little more than we wanted to, but that's what it takes sometimes on this big of a wheel and tire. Now, some people will run tire balancing beads, and that definitely would be an option. But again, you got to kind of match the beads, the weight of the beads to the size and the weight of the tire. So, but for this situation, clip-on, stick-on weights, we did just fine.
Alright, there you go. There's mounting, there's balancing, there is the new tires in the truck after you powder coated them and sandblasted them. Lots of fun stuff done on this old workhorse that we're going to play around with. But on the road, we've done highway, and then we had some fun in the dirt, and now we're back on the highway. And even though it's an F-250, it doesn't ride the smoothest truck, these wheels and tires, specifically the tires, we're not hearing a lot of whine like you would of a normal off-road tire.
You'd expect a big, luggy, heavy-duty off-road tire like this to be kind of loud and just howling down the road, and we're at 70 miles an hour, which is the speed limit on this road, and it is nice and quiet. And actually, for a 3/4 ton Super Duty, this is really smooth. My other trucks have run way rougher than this, so this is a pretty nice ride for a big, heavy-duty, aggressive tire on this truck.
And do you feel like you're sloppy with the wheel at all? I mean,
I got one hand on the steering wheel, it's steering really easy. I haven't even done the alignment on this truck yet, and it is steering nice down the road. It's not pulling to one side. Usually, you get a cheaper tire, you can get one that pulls really hard to one side, and you think it's an alignment problem, but it's actually just a radial tire pull, and this one's going straight down the road. So I'm definitely happy with the way it's running down the road. So this is nice. So here we've got the BF Goodrich tires we've covered in this video. We just took it out for a test drive. We did a little off-roading. We went through cactus, we went through sand burrs. We got sand burrs in the tires here. Everything got kind of dirty here, but we really put these tires to the test, and they turned out awesome. With all my years of experience of doing tires, this new BF Goodrich is hitting the mark just perfectly. Nice commercial grade tire, heavy duty, big aggressive tread blocks. This thing does great off-road. We took it through some really soft sand, which is super difficult for any truck tire, especially a 10-ply tire like this. It's not aired down. This thing did great. It dug through the sand, it climbed some hills. Super impressed with this tire. So in conclusion, I would definitely recommend this tire. This is going to be top of my list for off-road tires. As far as new tires this year, I really like this one. So again, thanks for watching the video. Appreciate you guys following along, and keep the rubber side down, and we will see you on the next video.